Control R. Alright, Control R and T. Alright.
Your absurd defiance ends here, hatchling.
Are you ready, my champion?
Oi, oi. Uber exog, by the way, boys. Uber exog, by the way. Yeah, what's up, guys? Con here. So, if you guys are wondering what just happened, well, there I'm gonna explain to you why this is happening, how this is happening, and how we set that up. So this is a build I was thinking about doing as soon as I first found this ring on day 1 of the league, on killing my quest trauma boss. And this is Spike. What Spike does is that he gives melee hit a chance to add an additional hit to the strongest impale on the target. Now, how impale works is that whenever you impale a target, a portion of the hit's damage will be stored on the target as an impale. And when you hit the target with anything, it will consume an impale and deal that stored portion of the damage to the monster. So for example, you will hit, and then it will apply an impale that will last 5 hits, and every single time you hit with anything, 10% of that damaging hit will be dealt as reflected damage. So overall, you will deal 50% of the damaging hit over the next 5 hits to the target. Now, how do we abuse this? Is that we're just gonna use a very, very big slow weapon, a weapon with big damage, and we're gonna use the hardest hitting ability that we can find, and that is Earthquake over Amplification. And we're just gonna scale some duration. So we're gonna scale duration from the tree here, and we're gonna anoint also the potency of whale. So we just allocate this, get the mastery for more duration. And we're gonna make our Earthquake Aftershock have 5.6 second duration, which is gonna give us a massive multiplier. As you can see on the gem here, we get 15% more damage per 0.1 second. And that makes Earthquake of Amplification the hardest hitting ability in the game for that purpose. Now, obviously, we're gonna juice it up with the Echoes of Creation, Overexertion, all war cries possible, Feast of War, which is pretty much 100% more damage support, as well as Worthless, which is also 100% more damage support because we can attack twice before we set up the big hit, and that will line up the Worthless hit with everything else. And that is how we impale inflict a huge impale. And then step 2 is gonna weapon swap to 2 really fast weapons. In this case, we're gonna use Foulborn Moonbender's Wing. These here. And the reason we use those is just because it is the fastest attacking weapon in the game. It has can go up to like 50% local attack speed on it on a relatively fast pace already. And that is the reason we use it. It has a downside where it triggers Lightning Warp on the weapon whenever you hit, and that is bad because it can break the build. So we just set it up in a way where we have too little mana for Lightning Warp to trigger, and that kind of bypasses that problem. So we swap to this weapon, then well, how do we attack? We just use the fastest hitting ability possible, and that is Cyclone of Tumult. And Cyclone of Tumult, as you can see here, with these 2 weapons and that tree and that setup, will attack fully ramped at 46 times per second. We link it to Rage, Momentum, faster attacks, everything to have the most speed possible. And then we also use, on top of it, Rage Vortex of Berserking, because we can just use it once and it will stay on us pretty much for the entirety of until the boss dies. And Rage Vortex of Berserking itself will attack 25 times per second. Which means that we will be hitting the monster 71 times per second. What does that mean? That means that we're going to consume the impale 71 times per second. And normally that's not possible because you will hit the monster 5 times and the impale is gone. But in our case, we're using Spike. Spike will make Cyclone and Rage Vortex consume the impales, but also refresh it at the same time, and it will never run out. And as you can see here, I'll show you the damage of EQ of amplification on this setup here. Where it's basically a PB where I just looked at the like to have an idea of the optimal damage, the most damage we can get. This has 17 million impale damage. What does this mean? This means that we have 17 million and we are hitting 71 times per second. That is 1.2 billion DPS. And then because we're Slayer and we have Slayer Call, we kill things at 20%. That means that is a 25% more multiplier. And that means that we deal 1.5 billion DPS on this setup. Now that is an absurd number. And if it was not absurd enough, we are using Impaler. And what Impaler does, like instead of our Earthquake, instead of applying 1 impale, we'll apply 6. Which means our damage goes up to 9 billion DPS. Now, granted, impales will not refresh. Only one of the 6 impales would refresh. But I think it will basically, because all the impales have the same magnitude, my guess is that it just refreshes random one every single time. So you have this, if you get lucky and they just it just basically spreads the additional hits amongst all the impales evenly. Like you can get lucky and just have it last for a lot longer than normal. Like for example on this clip here, you can very clearly see what is Impaler when Impaler runs out. And start the fight. I'm gonna Earthquake and start spinning, and you will see that the boss will very rapidly drop to like 45% HP. And then it tempers off and you get like a more tame DPS. Obviously the DPS even without that is still absurd, but it just gives you a massive burst at the start, which in this case, because we're Slayer, has insane value, since the faster we get the boss down to the calling threshold, the better it is. So it basically works together extremely well, Impaler and Headsman. Since Impaler will drop down the monster extremely quickly, and then Headsman will just allow us to finish off the boss before he gets to cast an ability. But so that's pretty much how it works. Big impale with big weapon, and then we just keep it. We just consume it as fast as possible, with the fastest attack possible, fastest weapon possible. Obviously, it doesn't have to be Foulborn Moonbender's Wing. I just use it because it's extremely easy to acquire, and it is the fastest one. But you can also just use whatever. Use some siege axes with a bunch of deafening essence of zeal. Same thing with, like, you can use claws to the claws as fastest. Claws and foils are faster, but they don't benefit from the axe moves we have. So yeah. But anyway, I will show you real quick how we're doing this, in case you want to play. Just a reminder, this is a build that I made solely for the purpose of entering a boss arena and one-shotting bosses. This is not something that can map. You can make it map. You'd have to like change things quite a bit, but it is possible. I just didn't want to bother with that because that was not the goal of the build. So just be warned, this is only something that you would take into a boss arena with the current setup at least, to just just destroy it instantly. And I'll show you exactly how to do the thing in case you wanna load this up. I'll probably be using this character to be farming Ubers. Because it's a lot faster than having to fight the boss, and a lot safer too. But yeah, basically, what you do is like once you enter the arena, what I do is obviously we still want to have proper defense. This is a character that has a build that still has good defense. You're still gonna be a Slayer with schizo ascendancy here. That didn't happen. Endurance charges, a lot of armor, decent amount of life. And Slayer DR, so it's still gonna have good defense. So you start the fight, red bait banner to get endurance charges, then keep them up with the chest implicit here. And then swap to the two-hander, attack 2 times, you can just cancel the animation, to line up Ruthless. And then we're just gonna get our war cries. to exert everything. I usually spam them for a little bit until I get full rage. Then I have auto exertion with general scrod that will keep up the rage the entire time. And then we just gonna walk up to the boss. Right before it spawns, we attack. We don't want the main hit to hit because of Impaler. Wait. And then use phase run right before it pops. Swap to the Moonbenders. Activate Clarity so that our mana is below the cost of a Lightning Warp. Rage Vortex just to put it on top of us, and then start spinning. And normally the boss should evaporate at that moment. I'll explain real quick. Phase run, again, when you activate it, it gives you more metaphysical damage. That is pretty much the same thing we used to use with the Ground Slam Impaler build from my Ground Slam Impaler build from Heist, if you remember. So basically all the things we used back then, we just use it here again. And the thing to note with the phase runs, like you can attack, and you just wait, and you're gonna activate it, and it's gonna have 4 seconds where at any time, whenever, if it pops here, you will get the damage. Like the skill says that only the secondary duration gives you melee damage, but that's not true. The phase one always gives you melee damage whenever it's active. And since we're not attacking when the aftershock actually goes off, we still get the damage bonus. Yeah, so that's pretty much how it works. I just wanted to share that real quick because I thought it was really cool, and that's something that I wanted to do since the beginning of the league, and finally got time to do it. And yeah. So again, reminder: this is not something that you can map with. You can maybe make it do so, but I did not bother. So it's up to you if you want to do that. You can maybe, and if you want to ask me stuff about this further, you can always find me at twitch.tv/Karn_, and I'll answer your questions. But yeah, if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe. I just thought I want to share this with you guys because I thought it was really cool. It was pretty cool, and it's definitely not gonna survive this patch. So if you want to play with this, now is the time. I think there's a 0% chance this will survive this patch. I am extremely surprised that this made it in already, because to me it was pretty obvious that this was gonna be abusable as soon as I saw the item the first time. And now that I've got a bit of time, well, we got to do it real quick. But anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and have a good one. Peace.